I see so many of these people at these raves taking Molly and E, and they always look so happy when they do it. But I'm really curious, what does MDMA actually do to you? It's like, where does MDMA even come from?
MDMA is found in two common forms, Molly and ecstasy, commonly found at raves and EDM festivals. In the 70s, psychiatrists began utilizing these psychoactive properties during psychotherapy sessions as an alternative PTSD and depression treatment.
Bro, that's pretty cool, but can you tell me a bit more about what MDMA actually looks like?
So I can take that question. That's a really good question. MDMA belongs with the phenylethylamine family, and within this categorization of chemical species, they all share of an ethylamine chain, and it has a phenyl substituent. The physical state of MDMA depends on the synthesis technique that you use. So when you use more precise, longer duration synthesis techniques, you actually kind of get it in a crystalline structure. This is what's known as Molly. And so when you don't have access to professional grade chemical synthesis technologies, then MDMA adopt a more sticky, kind of tacky substance. This is known as its free base form.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that the crystal form of MDMA was a salt form, or that the free base form even exists. But now can you tell me a little bit more about how MDMA actually affects the brain? So MDMA is a psychoactive drug. This means that it changes how the brain perceives sensory information. Lights will look a lot prettier and sounds will be a lot more pleasing to the ear. MDMA users will feel a lot of euphoria and happiness. This is also accompanied by teeth clenching, teeth grinding, jaw clenching, and restless movement. It basically works by enhancing compassionate and empathetic feelings by stimulating serotonin release, associated with feelings of happiness and calmness. Increasing levels of this neurotransmitter, you increase levels of oxytocin, which is the key in the production of developing feelings of closeness and bonding.
We're going to take a look at this figure and see exactly how MDMA acts. First off, MDMA acts as a presynaptic reuptake inhibitor and mimics 5-HT, otherwise known as serotonin, to enter the presynaptic cell, which is up here. And MDMA is going to be these orange squares, and serotonin are these blue squares. So once MDMA is entered, it's actually going to switch the direction that serotonin moves. Regularly, serotonin will be imported into this space and stored in these vesicles, but because MDMA is there, it's actually going to be exported out into the synaptic cleft. Because serotonin now accumulates in this space, it's going to cause a higher concentration, which leads to a constant firing of serotonin by the postsynaptic cell.
And now that we've kind of seen the effects of MDMA within our bodies, as you might be wondering, how is it actually metabolized in our body? And what is the rate of metabolism? Once you ingest it as a tablet or a capsule, is absorbed by your intestinal tract and then primarily metabolized by your liver, specifically by the CYP2D6 enzyme. And it reaches peak concentration within the bloodstream after about 2 hours. It has a half-life of 8 hours, and it takes about 40 hours for 95% of the drug to be excreted. And even upon its metabolism, the first metabolite, MDA, is still biologically active, and this extends the time it takes for the active compounds to be excreted and no longer have the same activity.
That's pretty cool, not gonna lie. I didn't think that there'd be so much interesting chemistry behind MDMA. Can you tell me a little bit more about how exactly MDMA is being used by researchers and doctors as a potential treatment for illnesses?
Moving on to pharmaceutical applications, MDMA can help people who feel clinically depressed or suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, all of which could affect one's appetite, energy, memory, and loss of interest in day-to-day activities. Since MDMA is currently a Substance 1 drug, meaning it has high potential for abuse, it is not currently accepted as medical treatment and is considered unsafe without medical supervision. Due to this, the actual doses used in studies that demonstrate positive acute effects are less than its recreational usage. Results from one clinical study in UCSD in 2023 showed promising efficacy as treatment for PTSD and depression. This discovery has put MDMA, together with therapy, on track to become the first psychedelic seeking FDA approval. In a multi-site trial involving 104 patients, MDMA paired with psychotherapy proved twice as effective in helping those with moderate to severe PTSD compared to the placebo. And in this figure, it shows that at the end of the 18-week trial, an impressive 71.2% of the MDMA-assisted therapy group no longer met the PTSD criteria, in contrast to the 47.6% in the therapy plus placebo group. But most importantly, MDMA showed no serious adverse side effects. The potential FDA approval by the end of 2024 signals a groundbreaking shift in mental health care for those with PTSD and depression.
So even though music festival goers and psychiatrists were using MDMA for very different purposes, they both came to appreciate the psychotherapeutic potential of the drug. MDMA-coupled psychotherapy has had promising clinical trials as an upcoming PTSD depression treatment because of its ability to allow users to let their emotional guard down and honestly process their trauma. This could revolutionize the PTSD depression recovery path to one with more hope and healing, and shows just how powerful a drug can be if its pharmaceutical potential is fully explored.